Hi, welcome to Lee on the Lectionary. Today we're looking at the readings for the third Sunday of Easter in Year C. And those readings are Zephaniah 3 verses 14 to 20, John 21 verses 1 to 19, and Acts 9 verses 1 to 20. This week we rejoice that God graciously chooses to use weak and feeble instruments to achieve his transformative global purposes. Zephaniah exhorts the people of God to shout for joy. Verse 15 lists several reasons why. God has taken away his judgment against them. That is, whatever punishments they were due in strict justice have been passed over in mercy. God has turned away our enemies, for war is one of God's judgments, and our assailants sheathe their swords against us when God himself does. God is in our midst and no longer distant or alienated from us. And we need fear no disaster because we have such a defender. The Lord gives victory to his weak and oppressed people who feel like lame outcasts, ashamed and insignificant. He will turn their shame into praise, says Zephaniah, and renown in all the earth, it says, a global impact for such a seemingly unimportant group. We are to praise him for this, even when, like Zephaniah's audience, we may not see the triumph with our own eyes as yet. God moves in mysterious ways, as William Cowper sang. And so, ye fearful saints, fresh courage take, the clouds ye so much dread are big with mercy and shall break in blessings on your head. Peter experiences transformation in the gospel narrative. Returning to his nets, the fisherman laboured throughout the long dark night without any joy. But this only made the miracle of the morning more startlingly clear. The presence of Jesus dramatically altered the situation. Just as his advice in Luke chapter 5 verses 1 to 11 had likewise led to a huge haul of fish. On that occasion, Peter had confessed that he was a sinful man and felt he must beg Jesus to depart from me. Now, though he knows his sin even more clearly, he rushes towards the bank to meet Jesus. The disciples counted the fish so miraculously caught and ate with Jesus, who it seems had already prepared some fresh bread and fish all by himself. The fact that the number of fish caught, 153, is specifically mentioned has led to all kinds of speculation about the number. Following Augustine, for example, might it represent the law, 10 commandments, plus the Spirit, the sevenfold Spirit of Isaiah 11 or Revelation 4 and 5, multiplied in fruitfulness, because 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way up to 17 equals 153. Could it be that? Or maybe it means Gentiles, 100, plus Jews, 50, to the glory of the Trinity, 3. Well, I don't know. But any way you look at it, there is extraordinary fullness when Jesus is with us. Peter is then recommissioned in the gospel and restored after his earlier treachery. His love for Christ, evident in his swift swim to the shore, is probed 3 times, just as 3 times he had denied even knowing Christ. On each occasion, he is told to care for God's people, and thereby demonstrate that love in future, following Christ even unto death. He is changed from a pitiful failure to the apostolic rock for the sake of the mission of the world. The same might be said of Saul in Acts chapter 9. He begins by breathing out threats and murder against the disciples. At the end of our reading, he declares in the synagogues that Jesus is the Son of God. He is turned from a persecutor to a proclaimer. He once was spiritually blind, but now he sees. Yet his physical sight is taken away from him until the Lord restores it through Ananias. Saul is chosen by Christ to carry his name before Gentiles and kings throughout the world. But his privilege is matched by his calling to suffer. On the last day, he will rejoice at the cosmic impact of all that Jesus has achieved through him.